Hey guys, Danny here from the Couch Gnomes, and I got a little special video for you today, something a little different, not a gameplay video, not an unboxing, anything like that. As of late, there's been these, I guess it's classified as a meme, even though it's really not, but they've been going around the internet, and they're brackets of different like TV networks and different shows, comic books, superheroes, etc., all kinds of stuff. And I decided I want to do one that's near and dear to my heart, pretty much something that's got me going through my whole childhood, got me to where I am today as an animator. It's kind of inspired me to go to school to become an animator and to learn how to create life out of just pixels and polygons and so on and so forth. So I'm going to be going through the bracket of Disney and Pixar movies today. We're going to find out which one of these is the best. And granted, this is all opinion, so nobody sit there and be like, oh my god, Danny has the ultimate answers. Because it's not even that at all. I'm pretty biased to a lot of these movies, but I'm going to go through the bracket. I'm probably going to discuss a little bit and be like, hey, I like this one for this reason, this one for this reason. This is my opinion entirely, so whether this is concrete set in stone, that's up to you. I would love to know what you guys do, so go ahead, look at the bracket, go through it while I'm going through it. Leave your comments below, let me know what you guys think, if I'm wrong in a certain spot, why you like a movie over another, why you'd make a different choice than I did. And yeah. I can read your comments after. I always love reading comments, and I try to reply to everybody. Anywho, let's get started. So I'm going to pull up in Photoshop here. The picture itself is very low quality, so hopefully you guys can make it out. Unfortunately, it's just the size of the photo. I wish I had a better one, but this is the best I could find. All right, so you can see the bracket's split in two. On the left, we've got Disney. On the right, we've got Pixar. So we're going to start with the left. We're going to start with Disney. Then we'll jump to Pixar. And then we'll meet somewhere in the middle. We're going to make a nice little decision here. And right here, we're going to have our champion of champions, the best Disney/Pixar movie. So up here, top left, first in Disney, we've got Lion King versus Tarzan. Until I sat and thought about this, I would have said hands down the Lion King. Lion King came out in '94, so the year before I was born. And it was one of those movies that I just watched all the time as a kid. It was probably my first, if not one of the earliest Disney movies I ever watched. Tarzan came out in '99, but I didn't end up seeing it until I was probably like 8 or 9 years old. So like early 2000s, the first time I saw Tarzan. Thinking about it grand scale and knowing what I know now about animation, I think Tarzan has a lot more animation quality as far as like some of the dynamic things they decided to do. Like when Tarzan's like climbing through the trees and he starts doing that whole foot swivel thing, like that's a lot more intricate animation than I think anything the Lion King has to offer. However, the Lion King has Hakuna Matata, and like, how can you compete? Well, I guess you can compete because Phil Collins' work on Tarzan is pretty amazing. Come stop your crying, it'll be alright. Just take my hand and hold it tight. Yeah, I'm not Phil Collins. Anywho, I really think, it's starting off really tough. I think, as much as I love The Lion King and how good of a movie it is, in my heart, I think Tarzan is probably the better movie. I'm sorry, Lion King. But we'll see, because as of late, they've been doing the live-action Tarzans, and those probably, like, personally, I don't think those are very good. So hopefully the not live-action, the CG Lion King coming out later this year, next year, whenever it's coming out, will be much better. But so far, we are moving Tarzan up the bracket. I'm going to shrink this down a little bit. Boom. Okay. The Princess and the Frog versus Lilo and Stitch. This is not even a competition for me. I'm going to go and explain a little bit, but Lilo and Stitch is a clear winner. I think the phenomenon behind Lilo and Stitch, like when this movie originally got announced, it was so different for Disney, something just so unexpected. They're like, hey, let's make this movie about an alien, a little girl in Hawaii, and this and that. It's like, what's the plot there? What is that about? Princess and the Frog, I think, was a pretty good movie. What I really appreciated was the first, as far as Disney princesses go by official title, the first black Disney princess, which I think was a real major step in a lot of people's view of Disney, which I think was really cool. But as a whole, I've seen the movie once, maybe 1.5 times, because it was on TV and I just kind of browsed at it a little bit. It's not one of my favorites. I think it's very well animated. It's got a lot of cool color choices and so on and so forth, especially during the swamp scenes. But I just think Lilo and Stitch just has a major leg up on Princess and the Frog. It's not even a competition. All right, so on my screen, it's awful. Let me see if you can see it better when I zoom out. You still really can't. So that's Tangled. That's what that is. That's Tangled versus Big Hero 6. Again, another one that is just like not even a competition. Big Hero 6, by far, just smashes Tangled. Now, I think Tangled is a great movie. I think it was one of those movies that came out, and I just wasn't very interested in it. But then I finally saw Tangled, and I was like, this movie like is far superior as far as character development and some of the animation style, some of the things they do, especially because like the section we're looking at here, this one in the next bracket, are all their 3D stuff, which is their new kind of direction. So Tangled, pretty cool. But Big Hero 6, I mean, it's Baymax. Can you really beat Baymax? So the day we saw Big Hero 6, we went as a group of animators, all from our same class, and we went to go see A Book of Life, which is in Elon's bracket, but it's a good movie. If you get a chance to watch it, do it. We saw A Book of Life, and then we saw Big Hero 6. And Big Hero 6 was just such a cool movie. As we walked in the front door, they had a big inflatable Baymax in the front door, and I got a picture. It was my profile picture for the longest time, and it's just me hugging Baymax. I'm just like, I love you, buddy. I'm sure I'll put it in here somewhere above my face. But yeah, I think Big Hero 6, it was like the first superhero movie Disney did that wasn't a Marvel movie, like an official cinematic universe Marvel movie. And I just think some of the situations in the movie, some of the character choices, and just Baymax, it's just Baymax. Alrighty, next we got Frozen versus Moana. This one I'm not going to say is as crazy of just like a bam, that's an easy choice. But I think Moana is definitely the better movie. Frozen, I think, definitely hit a wider audience than Moana did, but I can tell you, I didn't cry during Frozen. But in Moana, while she's singing How Far I'll Go, the reprise version, and as she's just on her boat sailing out in the sea, and you just see like the flash of light, and then that beautiful like starlit stingray swimming under the water to represent her grandma, like, I think, I don't know if I ever shed a tear that early in a movie, especially an animated movie. Like, I was flabbergasted when I sat there, and I was seeing with my mom and my sister. They're like, "Is Danny crying over there? Is Danny crying?" And I was just like, "Ah, guys, shut up. It's really pretty." I mean, the musical choices personally, You're Welcome, I think, is a way better song than Let It Go. I'm sure I've triggered some people with that statement, but I mean, let's all face it, Let It Go is a good song, and that whole scene, that mountaintop scene, animated beautifully. Alright, so now we're taking a step back to the 2D stuff. Aladdin versus Hercules. These are both movies, again, like as a kid when I watched Disney movies, Lion King was the one I watched the most. Aladdin and Hercules were both ones I saw later. Probably around like the same time I saw Tarzan, I started seeing more of the Disney movies. I think Aladdin... So the Aladdin has a lot of cool animations when it comes to Genie popping in and converting into different shapes and doing different things, growing different facial hair and hats and doing all that stuff. I think the whole role that Robin Williams brings to life is just done very well. But Hercules, I think, just kind of emanates more. I think there's something, when you see Hercules and you watch Hercules, I think it just has a bigger presence as a Disney movie, and I think it just kind of feels more uppity, and I think that may just be the whole color scheme with like Olympus and so on and so forth. Aladdin looks great, especially when you're looking at the temple and the whole lion head in the desert and all the gold, and it's really well. But I think Hercules is the better movie. Oh man, I have to come back and look at this later and be like, why did I make that choice? So next we've got The Little Mermaid versus Pocahontas. Pocahontas, I can tell you I have seen once. It just never really emanated with me. I just think as a whole movie, it was okay. I'll be like, I can't remember any of the characters' names. Like I remember the raccoon, I remember the pug. I'm pretty sure the guy's name was John Smith. Like that generic, like let's come up with a name, John Smith. But yeah, I think Pocahontas is okay. The Little Mermaid, I think, definitely wins this one. It's just a really fun movie, I think. One thing that I think is weird, and this is one of my complaints with WALL-E, and I'm sure I'll talk about it again. I think it's on the Pixar side, but it was very difficult to create a movie where you have a character that can't speak or can only say so few things. So, like, especially when you're watching the beginning of this, and Ariel has a voice, and she's singing, and she's like, I want to be out of the water, I want to be on the land, I want to be what other people are, I don't want to be stuck down here underwater. And then as soon as she gets out, her voice gets taken away, so she has that luxury, and it's very difficult. So like if Eric wasn't there, her love interest wasn't in this movie to carry on the dialogue, I think it would have almost fallen flat, if not definitely fallen flat. But yeah, I think movie as a whole, I think Little Mermaid's got this one wrapped up. Mulan versus Zootopia. This is the first one we have a 2D versus a 3D. So, well, Zootopia doesn't have any like big musical numbers. Mulan's got I'll Make a Man Out of You. And how do you compete? Even though I prefer 3D. I'm personally a 3D animator myself. But I think Mulan has this essence about it. Like, it's just a classic. And I think, even though Lion King was the one I watched a lot as a kid, I think out of all 2D Disney movies, Mulan's probably the one I've seen the most in my lifetime. Because whenever it's on, like, I'll pause or I'll stop what I'm doing to watch Mulan, because I enjoy that movie a lot. Zootopia was really good. I think it was just like this sleeper hit. Like, they kept showing it, like, here's Zootopia, here it comes, gonna be this cool Disney animal movie. Well, I mean, it found an audience, it did. But at a point, it was just like no one really paid attention to it, and it was one of those movies just kind of came out. And then I remember we were excited for it, or like the same animator group we went to go see Big Hero 6 with, we saw Zootopia, and we really enjoyed it. And I was like, this movie is so much better than they marketed it as. Like, I can almost guarantee if we didn't have this group, I probably would have just waited for this to come on DVD and or Netflix, and I just would have watched it. But Zootopia was such a good movie. But I think when we're talking grand scale Disney movies, one of the huge things is musical numbers. So I think Mulan is gonna take this one. I need to shrink these titles. I'm out of space. All right, the last one on the Disney side is Beauty and the Beast versus Nightmare Before Christmas. I think, as far as grand audience, if you'd walk up to somebody and be like, which is better, Beauty and the Beast or Nightmare Before Christmas? I think a lot more people than you would anticipate would like Nightmare Before Christmas better than Beauty and the Beast. And I think that's based on the generation, this millennial generation that exists, where Jack Skellington is like the coolest character ever. Tall, sleek, black suit with the white stripes, like the whole like stretched out Beetlejuice skeleton looking thing. I think Jack Skellington's awesome. Such a cool character, such a cool design, and I don't think Beauty and the Beast has that iconic of a character. I mean, Belle and Beast, like, you see them and you know they're from Beauty and the Beast. But I think when you see Jack Skellington, that's just like, it's Jack Skellington, yes! Like, I think it has a essence about it more. Beauty and the Beast, however, has some gorgeously animated scenes in it. When it comes to, like, the Be Our Guest scene and so on and so forth. This is a harder one. Because there's definitely, I think, the next round, I'm talking preemptively here, of course, Beauty and the Beast is going to, or either one of these things is going to be beat out by Mulan, like, without a doubt. But I think, personal opinion, I'm going to throw it to Nightmare Before Christmas, just because I am one of those millennials. I think Jack Skellington is badass. Alright, so we have our first bracket here on Disney. We're going to jump to Pixar and do that first level here. This first one, I think most of you are going to agree with me. Pretty easy. Up is the better movie. Brave was really good. I enjoyed it probably more than I expected I would. But I think it was also very predictable as far as plot. I mean, granted, Mom turning into a bear was very not predictable. I don't think anyone would have just been like, Mom's gonna turn into a bear. But I think just the whole scale of just like, this is gonna happen, we're gonna get here, it's gonna be a big happy ending. I don't think it's something people wouldn't have expected. I think it just kind of animated gorgeously. Textures were awesome, especially on like Merida's dress towards the beginning. Some of the outfits, some of like just the wall pieces, like the wooden carvings and everything in the castle. Yeah, Up, I mean, just has the plot to it. The first intro scene, I mean, you're bawling. I think I said that about Moana was the first anime movie I cried so early, and I think Up is up there too. Up is up there. But I mean, Russell, Kevin, Doug, there's just characters that have so much life to them. And I think Up, by far, is better than Brave. So this is one I sat and thought about for a bit before even recording the video. Toy Story 1 versus Toy Story 2. I think Toy Story 2, even though it doesn't suffer as badly, does suffer from the sequel sort of trope where it's not as good as the original. I think Toy Story 2 is great. But I think Toy Story 1 is better, where it builds a character, sets him in place, it lets us learn about, hey, here's Woody, here's what he wants, here's Buzz, he's taken away from Woody, Andy's this kid who's just, he doesn't see them as people, he sees them as toys, and he's like, which one's the cool one to play with right now? And of course, Buzz is winning out. And then eventually it kind of hits that point where it's like, I know I've been playing with my new toy, but I do have all these other toys. Let's play with all of them together. And it makes everybody happy at home. And then, you know, they got a dog and everyone's scared now because the dog is going to eat the toys. But yeah, Toy Story 1, much better than Toy Story 2. All right, now again, they're kind of a crappy image here. But Coco versus Cars 2. I won't. Pixar has done some phenomenal work. They've made great movies. They've animated them all splendidly. But Cars 2, without a doubt, is a movie that I just have not liked ever. I've watched it and I was like, let me give it a chance. Maybe I'll try again. Maybe I'm just not. Maybe now that I know the plot, if I see it again, no. The second time was like pulling teeth. I couldn't get into Cars 2. I didn't enjoy it. Coco, again, just like Zootopia, was like a sleeper hit that just kind of came out, and it was like, it doesn't really emanate Pixar the way that some of the others, like you see Toy Story, you see Monsters Inc., and it's like, that is a Pixar movie. Coco came out, and there was a point in time where I thought it was just a Disney movie, not a Pixar one. And then I was like, oh no, that is Pixar. Granted, that was very early on. I'm very much on the fence of where I know if it's a Disney or a Pixar movie after a while. But yeah, I think Coco just exploded expectations. I think it's such a good movie. The music was great, and the Spanish culture, Dia de los Muertos, all that fun stuff. I think it's super, super cool. All right, Toy Story 3 versus The Good Dinosaur. So we're just going to take the chance here. We're still going to talk about it, but Toy Story 3 wins. Like, it's such a great movie. It ties all these nice ends together, which I know when Toy Story 4 comes out, I really hope it doesn't just like unbind all that stuff. Part of me is kind of hoping Toy Story 4 is like a new start. We're in a different room, different toys. Woody and Buzz aren't here. We're talking some other kids, some other toys. I think that'd be a really cool step for them to take. But since it's Toy Story 4, I think we're sticking with the same cast. That's just my guess. But regardless, I think The Good Dinosaur was this phenomenally animated movie, and like the RenderMan software that they use for environments. I remember this trailer dropped, and there was just this, I think it was a salamander or a chameleon or some kind of like lizard just like walking on the ground. And I was just like, this looks too real for an animated movie. Like, this looks insanely hyper realistic. And it was such like, I remember us in the classroom watching this going like, what is Pixar? How am I supposed to work at Pixar when they're like 10 million years ahead of what I can do here in this classroom? I think The Good Dinosaur was decent. It had such a predictable plot. Hey, kid gets lost, meets a friend, they hate each other, but they work their differences aside to each get home. It's just kind of expected. Nothing really phenomenal about it. Nothing that makes me say, The Good Dinosaur is this movie everybody needs to see. I think if you have a chance to watch it, watch it. But I don't think you need to go out and like rent it or anything, you know? Next one, Ratatouille versus Bug's Life. I'm going to go Ratatouille on this one. I think it's another one of those ones that just kind of came out and blew people's expectations away. I really enjoyed it. It was such a good... No, don't move the whole thing. I really enjoyed it. Such a good movie. A Bug's Life's also good. But I think Ratatouille just kind of sticks to a point. It's like, this movie is a movie about cooking. A mouse that wants... Or a rat that wants to cook and just isn't offered that opportunity. And now he's standing there and he has this choice of, I could be a chef, but I have to do it through this weird guy who inherited this restaurant. He really doesn't have a choice. And it's one of those movies where it was just like, Pixar, let's take this plot of something that no one's done and let's just make it awesome. And I mean, if you can tell me another movie about a rat that wants to cook, and it like is personified, speaks, all that fun stuff, I'd like to see it, but I don't think it'll hold up to Ratatouille. And there you go. Finding Nemo versus Inside Out. Won't lie, I looked at this and I had a very solid opinion on what I was going to pick. And in this moment now, I've changed my vote. And I think Inside Out's going to win this one. Finding Nemo, really good movie. 2004? 2004 was incredible. I think it was 2005, Finding Nemo. But yeah, 2005, this movie just comes out and I'm like, it's really good. It was the movie that sat in our car. We were loud kids in the car and mom and dad needed us to shut up. So we had the DVD players on the back seats, and Finding Nemo was the one that was in there. And we had like a little shelf unit in there to switch the DVDs. but we wanted to watch Finding Nemo again and again and again. It's a really good movie. But Inside Out was a really good movie that I don't think anyone saw coming. And I think that's something that happens a lot with Pixar and Disney now, where this movie comes out, and as an animator, I pay attention to them, and I know I want to see them. But I think a lot of adults or other people my age that aren't in the animated universe or aren't in that realm of thinking just kind of let it go by. And Inside Out is definitely one of those ones that a lot of people just like, maybe I'll take the kids to see it. But if the kids aren't interested, it just kind of goes away and no one pays attention to it. Inside Out, I went in and just watched this movie and I was like, holy crap. Holy crap. That was good. Did you guys see that same movie? That was really good. And it had so much emotion, which is what the whole movie is about, is emotions and characters and their emotions. And I think Inside Out is definitely better than Finding Nemo. So this is one I have a very, 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 very solid bias to. Monsters, Inc. Cars, good movie. Much better than Cars 2. But Monsters, Inc. is kind of the movie, not kinda, it is the movie that got me to become an animator. I've had to tell the story a lot in graduating and writing, cover letters and so on and so forth, and talking about why I wanted to become an animator. And Monsters, Inc. was one movie I was up really late watching. I finished the movie and I ended up in the special features. Remember back when DVDs, like once the movie ended, it just loaded the special features menu? That's what happened. And I was just like browsing through it and it was like the making of Monsters, Inc. And I saw this one scene where they had a 3D model of Sully and they were spinning him around, and then they put on the fur and they would like spin Sully and his fur would like shake with him. And I'm like, what is, like, how do you, and I, like in that moment I just kind of sat and thought, I was like, this is how these movies are made. This is what they do. And I just, that second I flipped on the light, I grabbed every animated movie I could. I didn't even watch the movies. I put the disc in and I went to special features to find more on, here's how we animated, here's how we did this, here's how we did that. I watched Barnyard, I watched Bug's Life, I watched, I think it was Toy Story 1. I would say Toy Story 3, but that could not have been out then. Any animated movie I could find that had those special features, I went and watched it and I was like, yep, that's what I want to do. So that was like, I was 8 years old at the time, so that's what kind of made me what I am. So thank you, Monsters, Inc. I'm going to try and speed through these now because I'm already a good chunk of time in because I've been talking so much. WALL-E vs. The Incredibles. I gave my stance on WALL-E earlier. I think it's a really good movie, but the whole silent protagonist thing is really hard to do, even though I think they did it really well. I think it's a hard take, but The Incredibles is a freaking superhero movie. Like, The Incredibles, so good. I'm excited for The Incredibles too. Again, it builds these characters and it builds this world that makes it its own. As far as like, we don't need to go with other superhero standards, and it's got a plot that makes sense. It's got a villain with a motive and so on and so forth. I think it's such a good movie. All right, we're gonna start up again with Disney. I'm gonna make these a little bit faster. Tarzan versus Lilo and Stitch. I want to. Every part of me wants to pick Lilo and Stitch because I know I like that movie better and I would watch it 10 times over. And Tarzan has this scene again. The foot, like, just a lot of the scenes that are animated in this movie are so well done, and there's so much care put into it. But with a lot of, I don't even want to say remorse, but with a lot of, with a heavy heart, I have to pick. Oh, my voice cracked. With a heavy heart, I gotta pick Lilo and Stitch again. It's too good. I enjoy the movie so much. Big Hero 6 versus Moana. Again, Big Hero 6. I loved Moana. Such a good movie, such a good soundtrack. But Big Hero 6, I think, is just has a special place with me, and I love that movie. It's funny because I was making a point earlier about Zootopia not being a musical Disney movie, and now I keep pushing Big Hero 6 like further up, and it's I'm a hypocrite. I'm a hypocrite. Hercules and Little Mermaid. Hercules, yeah, definitely. I sat and I was like, do I have to think about this? Nah, Hercules definitely better than The Little Mermaid. Mulan versus Night Before Christmas. Again, like I said, I had no anticipation of this even being a competition. Mulan versus Hercules for that final round there. All right, back to Pixar. Up versus Toy Story. Oh man, oh man, oh man. I think Toy Story suffers from being Pixar's first movie back in '95, and it's so not rough. I mean, compared to what they've made now, it's rough. But it was so groundbreaking and so breathtaking at the time. And I was born that year, so I can't really say what it was like to see it for the first time. But I think Up is the better movie. Sorry, Toy Story. You're great. You're great. Just, it's Up. It's Up. All right, Coco and Toy Story 3. Wow, this is so hard. Really, really hard. Oh, man, why did I do this to myself? Let's go back to me crying like a baby. I cried in both these movies. But Toy Story, we're getting into spoiler territory here. Toy Story made me cry and then resolved it by making what made me cry not happen. And if you see in the movie, against spoilers, the whole furnace scene at the end where it's like we're all going down, we're all about to die. I think it's heartbreaking knowing that these characters I've seen through 3 movies now that have just gone through so much hell and, you know, being taken care of at this daycare and not even taken care of, just destroyed this daycare and freaking tortured, are now about to die in the end. And they didn't, which, I mean, good, I'm glad they didn't, but it was almost just like that tease of here's the sorrow and never mind, we're gonna save them. Coco, I think all the repercussions that happen in that movie, when they're done, they're done. Even though that's not necessarily the case with Toy Story, it's not like they were done, but I think, I mean, characters who get lost, characters who die, situations that happen, they stay permanent. And granted, that's not everything in the movie, because I mean, it has a happy ending, and I think even with some of the characters that die and the way it's portrayed and the way they carry on, because Coco's all about, like, we want to remember our ancestors, we want to do this, we want to do that. I think the plot twist that happened in Coco is one of those ones I didn't anticipate, and I think that's because the trailer did such a good job of telling you that, like, for a fact, this is the case. And that wasn't the case. And I was like, that's very interesting. And I like that they did that. Yeah, I think this is an unexpected choice. Coco wins. Coco's beaten Toy Story 3. Wow, I can't even select it. There we go. Ratatouille versus Inside Out. I know I talked highly of Ratatouille and what it did, but I think Inside Out did it just a little bit better. The way it, took this, like, do you remember the trailers for Inside Out where it was like, oh, monsters have feelings, and toys have feelings, and characters have feelings, and dinosaurs have feelings, and cars have feelings, but then it was like, now feelings have feelings. And I was like, huh, Pixar can make a movie out of anything, absolutely anything. Why'd I do this to myself? God, this is really hard. Monsters, Inc. and The Incredibles are both amazing, and they both have that permanent spot in my heart that I love them. I think even though Monsters, Inc. has solidified its place as what got me into being an animator, I think The Incredibles is the better movie. Oh man. It hurts me to have to choose. It's like choosing between your kids, even though you know you have a favorite. You really kind of love the other ones, you know. Lilo and Stitch versus Big Hero 6. The thing is, I felt it'd be very hard to decide, but I feel very weighed to one side, and it's Lilo and Stitch, which, granted, again, good movie, but wow, I very easily beat out Big Hero 6, and that kind of surprised me a little bit. I'm sorry, Baymax, you're great. I hope you get a sequel soon, because I'll buy it. I'll watch it 6 times. Hercules and Mulan. Yeah, Mulan. Whew, wow, it's getting tight now. It's getting rough. Okay. Coco versus Up. Again, the decision just feels final, and Coco over Up for sure. Inside Out versus The Incredibles. Incredibles. some of them are really hard and some are just really easy just to pick. And I think that these last couple here have been just like, Danny, you know in your heart what the answer is. Lilo and Stitch versus Mulan. This is, now we're coming down to it. So, as good as Mulan is, and how great the music is, the character development, the way we get through the plot, the universe that gets set up is great. But I think Lilo and Stitch just stands out. I think you can talk about Mulan all day and how good of a movie it is and how much you like it, but something about Lilo and Stitch, it was just this phenomenon. And the ads, what it was like, it'd be these iconic scenes from like Beauty and the Beast and Aladdin, like a Whole New World and A Tale as Old as Time, and it's just these scenes that you know to heart because you've seen the movies like growing up. And then they were just ambushed by Stitch. He was like, I'm going to make my face known as a Disney mascot, and you will not forget about me. And I think those commercials and those ads just made Stitch this iconic character that like spans what will be Disney for a lifetime. And I think Lilo and Stitch, out of this list, I think has been the best 2D movie. Oh look, I got a Facebook message. Go away. All right, Coco versus The Incredibles. I'm kind of, this is a harder one because I think Coco being now the most recent. I know we had Cars 2 and Coco last year, but I'm pretty sure Cars 2 came out first. Coco was the most recent one. Yeah, I think The Incredibles is so good. And I love that movie. And I think it just comes with the fact of age and how animation has changed. I think the things that are animated is one of the big things that's sticking out to me. And as I'm paying attention to how beautiful this movie looks, how phenomenal special effects they have in there, and so on and so forth. And I think Coco just really emanates what Pixar can do. And Coco's gonna be moving up. Alright guys, we're down to it. We've got our Disney Pixar bracket. We're in the final stages of it. We've got Lilo and Stitch, and we've got Coco. And both of these movies have done so much to make me a happy person, knowing that I can live in a world where Disney and Pixar are going to continually make movies that I will spend my money on and go see and then enjoy and buy paraphernalia for. Whew. Well, guys, I've spoke my piece on both of these movies throughout, and I think the decision's been made. And the winner is Lilo and Stitch. Lilo and Stitch is the best Disney/Pixar movie that they've ever made. Now, we can look at this bracket and we can see like how Lilo and Stitch, it made its way through here. I pointed with the screen, I gotta use my mouse. Lilo and Stitch made its way to the top. Coco, again, made its way up here. You can see some of these movies that didn't even really, not necessarily didn't get talked about because I spoke my piece on a lot of these movies and how I feel and what I liked and what I didn't like. And I think Lilo and Stitch, even though I think I gave much higher praise to other movies, I think it just kind of transcends what I enjoyed most in a Disney movie. And I think it's the wacky, zany characters, the unorthodox, let's do something that no one's expecting us to do and knock it out of the park. And I think that's what Lilo and Stitch was. That movie came out, and we didn't focus on a princess. It wasn't about castles and ballrooms and stuff like that. It wasn't about things with well, I guess he has superpowers, but it wasn't about like gods or it was just such a different environment from what we've seen through Disney movies. And I think Lilo and Stitch just does this awesome job of standing out and being an iconic Disney movie that I mean, I guarantee I'm gonna show my kids Lilo and Stitch, and I hope they love it as much as I do. So yeah, the winner is Lilo and Stitch. Let's draw a crown on it. I'm gonna do a really rough. Da, 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 Guys, that has been me going through the Disney Pixar bracket. If you guys have any other videos you'd like to see me do, or any of us do, I have so much fun doing these. I mean, I love doing the gameplay stuff, but I just like doing other things, and I really think this is something you guys might enjoy. If you don't, let me know. I won't do it again. But I had fun doing this one. I'm really glad I got a chance to do this. I have other videos I'd like to do. Again, some gameplay, some more in this realm of personal communication and like stance on what I like about this, what I like about that, and yeah, I would love to keep doing other videos like these. So if you guys have other brackets like this you want to see me do, if you have videos you want me to react to, we did get a comment the other day. It's another video I will react to, and I'm gonna try and do that probably right after filming this. I'll try and get that knocked out. But yeah, that's what I got for you guys today. Make sure you like and comment. I really appreciate when you guys do that. Knowing when you guys comment and the things you say and things you like and things you don't like, and I think it helps us grow as a channel to give an idea of like how do we make people happy while making ourselves happy as well, because we want to make sure we bring you guys quality content, but we don't want it to be stuff that we're not interested in, because otherwise it'll just kind of dampen it for us. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm gonna stop blathering. My throat is really dry, and I kind of want to watch some Disney movies, I won't lie. But bye guys, take care. Mwah.